Hey, what's going on everybody? Marissa here today, back with another video for you guys. And today's topic is gonna be kind of cool because although primarily on my channel I talk about online marketing, online business, all things online, today we're gonna kind of take a step back and we're going to focus on just how to start a business, any business, whether it's brick and mortar, whether it's online, whatever it is. These are the steps to take to do it, because I have a lot of people ask me, they say, you know, hey Maris, how do you start a business? I get a lot of DMs, messages on Facebook, just a lot of people interested in going the business route, going from, you know, having a corporate job and wanting to grow something of their own, wanting to have an asset of their own. So today, I'm going to go over these steps in which I think any business has to take in order to start a business. So go ahead and stay tuned. Alright, welcome back to this video, you guys. My name is Marissa Romero, and if you guys are going to start a business in 2019 or whatever beyond, go ahead and in the comments type in business, whether it's online, whether it's offline. I'm curious to know what kind of business it is. Let me know in the comments in this video. But here's the thing, I wanted to say something before I started the steps, and that is, you know, about my online business. And so I plan to make a whole lot of money with my online business. And people ask me, they're like, Maris, what exactly do you plan to do with all that money that you make and that you're going to make? You know, which I'm just being honest, I don't think I make that much money right now. I mean, yes, I consistently make a 5-figure income, which for some people is ginormous, but for me, I'm like, okay, yes, I'm grateful for my salary, but in reality, I want to create a 6-figure salary for myself every single month, 6-figure income. And people have asked me, they're like, well, what exactly, like, when you make that much money, what are you gonna do with it? And I'm like, that's a great question. And so I wanted to say that I plan to start my own business, like another business that is not online marketing, that is not affiliate marketing, and that has to do with the environment, guys. So really, you know, all the support that I get on my channel, all the sales that I make, all the revenue I bring in, all the products that I'm making to create sales for my business, it all has an end game for me starting a business that is completely different than the business that I have right now. And honestly, I don't know how to build that business once I get the money and once I get comfortable with the idea of going and putting all my efforts in another direction. I honestly have no idea, but I can guarantee I can find the answers, okay? But really, for a long time, the subject of the environment and climate change and all these things that we're facing now, the troubles that we're facing with you know, different global warming issues, it has always been a near and dear subject to my heart. So the company business I plan to build will be based on something that's going to help the environment. And you know, this came into my head about a year ago when I was living in Thailand and Bali, and you know, they have a serious problem with trash. A lot of countries on this earth have a lot of issues with plastic bottles, with different types of things, with just systems that are not in place. And there's so many things that could, you know, that you could dive into with you know, helping to change the environment. Like in Singapore, they have such advanced technology where like all their new buildings have a requirement to have, you know, plants, fresh plants built on the edges of the building, and it's really phenomenal. So there's so much there's so many directions I could go with creating an environmental business, and I don't know right now. But the idea is that is a dream business that I have in mind, and one day I'm going to build it. But for now, I'd like to go over the steps on how to simply build a business. Okay, and the first step is you want to have an idea. Not only an idea, but an idea hopefully that you are passionate about, because without, you know, the expertise or the passion or the drive to really want to build that business, it might not suit you. So if you're just starting something because you think it's cool, but you don't really have the knowledge, don't really have the passion, it might not work in your favor. So have that idea, you know, have that drive. That's excellent, but also be into what you're doing. That's what's going to carry the business in the lifetime of that business and the lifetime of you owning the business. Step 2 is super boring, but it has to be done. And this is specifically for the United States of America. If you're in Europe or Australia, I'm not exactly sure, but I imagine there's something similar, and that is getting your business entity registered with the state. Now, every single state is different. I actually have my business registered in Arizona. I have a LLC, but if you want to just get a name registered under a sole proprietorship, which costs even less, that's totally fine. Just have a name registered, get an EIN number, which is super easy. Just go to the taxes.gov website. You can create an EIN within like 30 seconds. It's really easy. But yeah, it's very affordable to get a sole proprietorship, which means just register a name. And if you want to get an LLC, it's not much more, or at least it wasn't in Arizona. That's why I love Arizona as a state to register in, because I think the sole proprietorship was only like less than $30, maybe $20 or something, and the LLC was a $50 fee to start. So other states, I think it's way more, honestly. So just figure out what kind of entity you want, an S corporation, C corporation. Do your research on that. There's tons of information out there to figure out what is going to suit your business the best. You know, for example, you'll have to consider, are you going to have employees? You know, how big is your team going to be? Are you going to be a solo independent LLC? I think that's how you say it. But yeah, just figure out the dynamics of what your business is going to look like, and then you can go from there and register your business as an entity. The next thing you're going to want to do is your research. So there's tons of businesses already in whatever market or niche you're going to go into. You know, for example, if you're opening up a business in the cooking industry and you're a chef, and maybe you want to open a business that it's a school that teaches other chefs how to do it, and then you have an online component or whatever, I guarantee there's a business out there that's already in operation where you can, you know, take ideas and motivation and see, like, what did they do right, what did they do wrong. And if, you know, you're lucky, you can establish different meetings with some of these owners and get ideas from them on what they did and how you could do something the same or do it differently. But essentially, you want to do your research on, you know, the competition that's out there, the businesses that are already successful, and get ideas from that. The next thing you'll want to do is, once you establish what your name is going to be, because when you register a business entity, you typically, sometimes it is the name you want to call your business. So you're going to want to buy a domain name that you're going to want to use for a website for your business, and that could maybe you buy a couple of domain names. You know, I usually use GoDaddy, but there's Namecheap, there's all kinds. There's HostGator. There's so many different websites where you can buy an online domain name. Okay, so you want to get a domain name. That's very important. Choose a couple if you're not exactly sure. You're also going to want to set up your business email address because it looks professional. You can't use, you know, Robert32, you know, sailboat1985@gmail.com. Like, you can't do that anymore. So you're going to want to set up those things. Okay, the next step to building a business is to create a business plan. Now, this could be as complicated as, you know, a 100-page document, but it does not have to be that complicated. Me personally, I've never had a business plan, but for the businesses that I vision in my mind, that I project to see, I'm for sure going to need a business plan because I'm potentially going to need people to invest into my business to help, you know, with the startup funding. I'll need to outsource teams for certain tasks that I have no idea how to do. And if I'm dealing with something in the environment, I'm probably going to have to hire experts to help with the environmental and science-based stuff. But at the least, get a notebook, get a Google Doc, get a spreadsheet, and map out what the business is going to look like, what it's going to take from inventory, from employees, from marketing. All that stuff has to be included in your business plan, and it doesn't have to be long and extravagant. The only reason it would need to be, you know, that 100-page boring document is if you're going to need investors. You know, for example, one of my good friends from high school has a business plan, and we worked out the other day when I was back home for Christmas, and I'm like, why do you have a business plan and why is it 58 pages? He's like, well, because I'm going to need to get investors. I'm like, oh. And he had like all these bar graphs, charts, and you know, these beautiful images. I'm like, this is a really cool plan. I mean, he put his heart and soul into that business plan. And so, you know, sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not, but at the least you're going to need some type of, you know, plan, 2 to 3 to 5 pages worth of what the business is going to look like. Now, the last step is very important. That is, you need to have a launch plan, all right? People, this could be the longest step because people are preparing to launch the business and, you know, forget that they need to just launch it sometimes. When things aren't necessarily all in place, you just have to launch your business. But essentially your launch plan has to do a lot with the marketing side of it, in my opinion. You know, like, what kind of marketing are you going to need? Are you going to run, you know, outsource a team to run paid advertising for you? Are you going to want influencers and ambassadors to promote your product? Are you going to need local influencers versus national influencers? Maybe you're starting a local business and you're going to need different support of local business companies. You know, what is it? You know, are you going to have different promo codes and different offers that you'll have in the beginning so that people can try and test whatever service or product you are offering? So the launch plan is very important, and that's about sums it up, guys. And so I would invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I give a lot of tips and tricks on online marketing specifically, which is essential to any type of business you plan to have. All right, guys, so I hope this video was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and if you liked it, got any value, please give me a big thumbs up. It helps support the channel and it helps put food on the table for me. All right, guys, my name's Marissa. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.